It's Wednesday. I wanted to tell you it's Wednesday because you might still be processing what happened on Monday. And if you're still processing what happened on Monday, you might feel like you're stuck in suspended animation. You're not. Time marched on. We are on Wednesday now. And wow, Monday was something, really. It might have been the worst day for the Buffalo Sabres under Terry Pegula's ownership, which is saying a lot because there's been a lot of bad days. It feels like try to hit for the cycle in baseball, but you're trying to prove that you're the most dysfunctional franchise in North American sports. It was like they said, well, we don't have, you know the thing we don't have? We don't have a contentious situation with a star player involving medical. Let's do that. So that's what's happening here. Now, we don't know exactly, who's to blame or this or that. But regardless, it's ugly. And I don't know if it's serious or a ploy to work his way out of the organization. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me because Jack should be doing this, a year from now and not right now at a time where the Sabres have a lot of leverage. But it appears that we are heading in a direction where he might be gone. Now, I don't want to say that definitively. So I'm going to say this. He should be gone. Same with Sam. Same with Ristolainen. They should go. It's time. It is time. And if ownership, if they try their best to hold on to these players, I think back to that Sports Illustrated article where Terry Pegula said, "Oh, I never worry because we have Jack." If he has that attitude, somebody really has to sit down and talk with him and tell him, "Hey, man, it's done. It is done." And that doesn't mean the end of your team as you know it. That's not the death of your dream. It's just you got to do something different. You do. I never wanted to trade Jack Eichel. I never wanted to trade Sam Reinhart. I like them as players. I had visions of them, winning Stanley Cups when we drafted them. I thought we were going to be retiring their jerseys and they would be hanging right next to Danny Gare's number. But that didn't happen. So, I just pretty much basically saw the writing on the wall and I said, this seems to be like the last year. Based on their actions, this is the last year. They got Taylor Hall. They said, we're going to go all in. We're going to try to change the trajectory of this team. It did not work. They finished in last place again. Now, there was also other circumstances that caused this. But they finished in last place of their league again. And I know it's becoming very common and maybe the norm for us. But it is not normal for your team to be in the last place of their league as often as the Buffalo Sabres are the last place team in the NHL. We should not get used to that. They should be held accountable for that. They should be held accountable for the fact that this season went bad. Even though COVID was going on and a condensed schedule and you had a horrible coach, a lot of things were going on. But because of your history, you should be held accountable for that. This is not an outlier season. This is a normal season for you. So, and if this is a normal season for you, you have problems, big ones. So you have to restart everything. I thought an interesting thing that happened this week was the contrast in attitude that the younger players had when reflecting on the team compared to the veterans. That's huge to me. That's what I think you get if you trade Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart, and Ristolainen for players who are younger. You get an opportunity. It doesn't mean it's going to work. You get the opportunity to change the atmosphere that's hovering around your organization. I don't think you can do that with those players. That's unfortunate, but I don't think you can. Young players come in with hope. It might be foolish, but they come in with hope. Hope for the fans because you don't know what the players are going to be, and hope for the players themselves because things are new to them. So that's why I think that's what they have to do. It's what everyone needs. This whole thing is hanging over us, similar to how the Bills moving under Ralph's ownership was like, oh, well, they might move. Oh, they might move. Like that whole thing hanging over us for years, That's what's hanging over us right now. Do you remember how you felt when Terry Pegula bought the Bills and you didn't have to worry about them moving anymore? I think we're going to feel that way once this trade is done. Yeah, it's going to suck seeing these guys play for other teams, and they're going to be good because they're good players, and they're going to score, and they're going to be successful. But we got to try our best to be adults about this and focus on our team, because they were never going to win with our team. It's just not happening. So you got to worry about building from today moving forward without them. That should be the main focus. And another thing that I'm seeing a lot is trying to figure out, like, all these returns that people are making up, these trade proposals, trying to come up with a trade proposal that you feel is fair value with Jack Eichel. We should not be comparing I know this sounds ass backwards, but we should not be comparing the returns with the player that we're trading. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be comparing the returns with the other potential returns. What is the best return? That's what you should be focused on. Don't focus on stuff. I don't give a damn about draft picks. I need a single quality asset in return. Now, that doesn't mean I necessarily need a 1-for-1, but I need a quality asset. So if that means I only get 1 first round rather than 2, or I don't get another rostered player, or I don't get another first-round pick and another prospect, and the package of stuff for Jack Eichel is smaller, but I'm getting a quality asset for it, that should be our central focus. That player is huge. And whatever you have to do to get a single player that can eventually play a major role for this team, that's what they need to do. They do not need lottery tickets. They need to get somebody that they could really build around. I don't know how that's going to go down, because you're trading a player who might have a neck issue. I have no idea how that is, but I think that's a topic for another day. So really, it's incredible that we are where we are. But as painful it is to watch them sort of stagger around trying to figure out this whole thing, it might have been the best thing. These players may have to force the organization's hand, because the organization doesn't know what they're doing. And if they wait another year to try to figure this out, they are maybe the dumbest people to ever run an organization, not just the owners, anybody who was involved with it. It would be so foolish. Because think about a person in your life that's bad at making decisions. Because the Sabres are bad at making decisions. But think about that person. Okay, now, what's the worst thing that you could do to that person? I bet putting pressure on them with a deadline would be the worst thing to think oh, well, maybe they'll make a good choice this time. No, that's why it should be done now. I don't need them trying to make a decision next summer. They should make their own deadline, and they should go, we're having an auction here. Whoever has the best offer by July 15th, you get the player. And they could do that for all the players, because none of the players have any sort of clause in their contract that limits them from going to whatever team. And that's what they should do. They should treat them like commodities. I know that seems pretty, insensitive, but that's where we're at. And then you build a team based on all those things. You draft a forward really high this year, hopefully Beniers, and then you move on, heading into 2 drafts that have exceptional status players in them, and not Sean Day, Joe Villano exceptional status players. Real, honest to God, exceptional status players are coming up in the next 2 drafts. Get one of them. If you get one of those players, and whatever returns that you get, and I like some of the things that are happening with the young players. Middlestat seemed to really start getting some traction in his pro career. I like what Dylan Cousins has to offer, and yet maybe you will find yourself crawling out, or starting to crawl out of this hole that we dug in 2013. So, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hang in there. It's going to be fine. Regardless of whatever happens, it's going to be fine. Don't lose your fandom. It'll be okay. I promise. I really do. So, yes, again, thanks for watching. Take care.